My name is Bugembe Andrew, and I'm going to be continuing from where we stopped off. We last week we talked about how we actually do a one-on-one. I took you through page by page, telling you and teaching you how you are actually able to approach and get someone the message across. And I can guarantee you, ladies and gentlemen, I am extremely confident. I've seen it working. It does work. For as long as you have gone through the following steps, you have been able to come up with your name list. You're focusing on people that are your level and above. You're adding a name to your name list every single day. You're learning how to contact people, asking them to come over and meet you in a very rather neutral and good place. Um, and then you are well prepared when you meet the people. You have all your tools. We spent some time talking about the tools. Mr. Mimwebers did a very wonderful job on that. And then you're doing the one-on-one like we did last week, and eventually exposing people to the bigger meetings, like the ones we had yesterday, both online and physical. I can guarantee you the rest of the work remains in follow-up and closing appropriately. So today we are going to focus on some of the qualities, communication qualities. These are like the additional things you need to do during that one-on-one. Very, very important. It's important that you, of course, as a distributor participating in the one-on-one, you learn some of these qualities because they actually play a very huge role in ensuring that you actually get the message across. Quality number one, very important to note, is the fact that it's important for you to, as you do the one-on-one, very, very important for you to always, at the back of your mind, remember that it's more important to be interested in someone than to be interested. What does that actually mean? When you talk about what the prospect is interested in, you're being interested in that prospect. When you talk about what you are interested in, then you're not doing the prospects a good service. And therefore, it's very important as someone that is participating in the one-on-one to, first of all, ensure that you are really listening, to ensure that you are interested in what the person has to say, what the person has to share. Sometimes I've been in a situation where I've been talking with a prospect, and the prospect has their own interests. You know, the prospect first tells you, you know what, I have my children have really been giving me a headache when it comes to their health, and I'm always at the doctor's place. You have to take note of statements of that nature so that you attend to the prospect's interests. You know, some of us spend more time being interesting. We think that when we talk about a number of things that the prospect may not necessarily be interested in, but you expect them to be interested in, we think that we are going to get them to appreciate what we have to offer, you know? So it's important that before you go out and you begin talking about how you make so much money and how you are traveling all over the world, how you're going to be in Mauritius this year, you just have to make sure that what you're actually going to share with the prospect is what they are interested in. So we have to appreciate and understand, as one of the first qualities, is to ensure that we are being interested in the person, which basically means we are communicating that you desire to add value to them. You know, you are talking to the prospect's needs. Okay, you're talking to their needs and telling them what exactly they want to hear in as far as their needs are concerned. You're not talking about what you yourself you are interested or you're interested in, or you're just being interesting. You're just being someone who wants to make the whole presentation very interesting. I found this to be very important. Many of us make a mistake where we think that this person should be interested in making money, and where they relating. Sometimes I've met people who say that particular person has this problem, they've had a heart disease for so long. And then you get to the person, and the person totally has a different agenda. they are more interested in the cleaning products. I've found that actually very common with the doctors actually and the medical personnel. They end up being interested in something totally away from what the other person thinks that they should be interested in. Okay, I hope that makes a point and you've understood exactly what we mean by that. So you can make more friends in 2 months by becoming interested in other people than you can in 2 years by trying to get people interested in you. Okay, so focus on on becoming interested in other people than on trying to get people interested in you. Communication quality number 2: don't be distracted by your environment. It's important that you find a quiet environment. Have your phone in silent. It's etiquette, and Janet is doing this very well and sharing with us some of these other facts. So I'm not going to go so much into them, but it's important that you are sitting facing each other, for example, and that if, for example, there is a wall behind. So in this particular case, if I was seated, my prospect would be where I'm seated because I like to have the prospect. I would be where I am sitting right now because I like to have the prospect facing the wall. Yeah. So if you are going to get into a situation where you're going to be, and of course, some of these things may not apply all the time, but it's important that where you have a situation that does apply, you do it because if you want to gain more attention from the person you're talking to, they need to have a less distraction. If there was a television behind me, that prospect would be distracted. If behind me I had an entrance where people come through, where people are coming in each and every other time, that prospect will get distracted. So try as much as possible sit in a less destructive environment. Of course, sometimes we talk to a prospect and they have their children with them. That can be quite a challenging one because now all their mind is to do with their children and they are not going to give you as much attention as you want them to do. So it's important that you find an appropriate environment where you're not going to be distracted. It's also important that you have a sincere facial expression. I think sometimes I found this to be also very important because sometimes um, people are not happy when they're supposed to be happy. People are not, people don't show surprise or contempt or anger or whatever when they're supposed to be showing that. Yeah. It's good for you to have a sincere, and the word sincere is underlined 30, 40 times. And it's good for you to have a sincere facial expression. Um, there is that's part of the body language that shows that you know what you're actually paying attention and you are interested in the other person. So as a person who is um, looking at getting things moving, so I'm just trying to adjust my screen here. As a person who's getting at things, who's looking at getting things moving, the way you listen, the eye contact are very key things when you're talking prospect during a one-on-one. Eye contact especially, it's a sign of uh, confidence and belief in what you're talking about. And I've seen that people that actually do take other people seriously take eye contact as a very serious issue, as a very big thing. Yeah. So in the same sense, it's important that you offer a sincere facial expression as you communicate the information that and the reverse is true. Please take note as you communicate your prospects. It's so important for you to understand and take note of their facial expression. Sometimes I've been in a one-on-one and a prospect looks at their phone and their face changes. Then I know, oh, that message was not exactly a good one. Or you're talking to them and they get a phone call, and then all of a sudden they lose focus. And then you ask them, so what is the challenge? And you say, this person forgot to get the children from school. Now, of course, all that you're talking about is going to move away from what you're discussing with them in those 30 minutes, and it's going to go towards um, thinking about their children. For me, in such and such a circumstance, I actually either begin to wrap up the conversation or I tell the prospect, you know what, I think if there's no one that can actually help you keep your children for the next 15 minutes, then I suggest that you actually go. Because even if you continue sharing whatever information you have to share for the next 15 minutes, the prospect is not going to focus on what you have to share with them. They're going to be very distracted. Sometimes you've had a conversation with someone and they receive either very bad news or very good news, and they're just not going to keep focused, you know. And sometimes they have a phone that is buzzing off the hook. Now you can see all these things through their facial expressions, And it's important for you as a person that is going to be part of your life, a person that is working with people, important for you to eventually learn how to just take note of people's facial expressions. It's very, very important. It's very, very important because without you taking note and observing people's facial expression, sometimes you talk about sharing the product and people take it like as if it's marketing or it's selling, and you can almost feel like the person is telling you, actually, I can't talk to anybody. I can't sell to any of these things. And sometimes those facial expressions give you an idea of that. Okay, so that was our third quality. It's also important to understand what kind of assertiveness you should use. And level of assertiveness, as you talk to someone, which basically assertiveness means how much force you can use. Sometimes we use too much force, sometimes we use too little force. You know, I have come to appreciate, and as I build the business, that when I'm talking to people that are a lot younger, that actually need to see this very seriously, I'll use a little bit more force. When I'm talking to people that are about to retire, I'll use a little bit more force. When I talk to people that are comfortable in their in their workplace, I'll use a certain amount of force depending. So, and that force can be seen through your tone of voice. First of all, the force is determined by the circumstances the person is going through. You know, sometimes, like I told you that time, I met someone whose pressure was it was what 180 something over 100 and something 3, and they were here all dilly dallying. I had to use a stronger tone of voice as I talked to them. I had to tell them, you know what, uh, gentlemen, please get serious about your life. You have children to take care of. You can't be walking around with a pressure level of about 180 and you're doing nothing about it. You need to look and consider using the omega-3 as in just like now, immediately. Sometimes you'll find someone who has not had a job for a couple of years and they're still, you know, I'll think about it. We need to use some very serious force in trying to get them to understand that bit. So the level of assertiveness basically refers to the amount of force you can use when you are actually passing on and talking to someone about this opportunity. Sometimes the situation is so serious that you need to use a higher level of assertiveness. Sometimes the situation is not as serious that you need to use a normal level of assertiveness. Sometimes the person you're talking to determines the level of assertiveness. I've talked to Europeans and I've talked to you. You're going to see when Rico Brown comes here, as he talks to people, his tone of voice will be a little bit high. Now, if he says, hey, hello, Andrew, and then you go like, hello, Rico, you know, it shows a difference in the level of assertiveness. So sometimes the prospects we are talking to also determine the level of assertiveness you're going to use. So when it comes to the tone of voice, if your voice is high, if your voice is loud, it reflects a high level of assertiveness. If your voice is low, it reflects a low level of assertiveness. If you're talking too fast, it's a high level of assertiveness. If you're talking too slow, it could be also a low level of assertiveness. You know, your handshake, how firm is your handshake? A very firm handshake communicates a high level of assertiveness. A low handshake, what can I say? I can't demonstrate. I have to demonstrate this. But a weak handshake communicates a low level of assertiveness. Sometimes when I talk to someone and they give me a firm handshake, I know this person is confident. I know this person knows what they want. I'm going to have to use a higher level of assertiveness as I talk to them. The kind of dress code, the smarter you are, the more professional you are, the higher the level of assertiveness. And you see, as distributors, we need to be at a higher level of assertiveness as we talk to our prospects because we are giving them an opportunity. We are showing them something that can be able to take them to the next level in their life. So irrespective of what level they are at their life, if you project and you give off a higher level of assertiveness, even in your kind of dress code, you're going to find that it becomes easier for you to have that person sponsored. Your body language communicates a lot. How you sit, how you sit in a chair, how you stand. You know, some of us stand with our hands folded, others stand with our hands you know, cling like that. Others stand you know, is I can't exactly share with you on how. I should have actually put in some pictures to show you some of these things. But level of assertiveness is another communication quality that you need to look at. And lastly, I've talked about the life situation. And sometimes if someone, I'll be very assertive. If someone has been looking for a job for 3 years and they're not in one, and now they're looking at the new life opportunity and they're still thinking about it, I'll be very, very assertive. I'll use a lot more force to try and get them to understand that it's not going to take you, it's going to take you forever. Trying to make think that the government is going to come to your rescue, come to your home, and give you the shot to put on. I'm going to be very, very assertive in that situation. Sometimes someone has just lost a loved one. It could be a wife, it could be a husband, it could be a child. I might want to use a lower level of assertiveness, looking at their situation and how they are moving. So, ladies and gentlemen, um, I, I think I'll say more about the level of assertiveness, but it's something that I'm sure Janet, Mrs. Bugembe will be able to even take you through as you look at it. You need to learn how to communicate easily. You know, you need to learn how to use proper introductions, as you talked. When you're talking about something, think about how you introduce it. I'll give you an example. So if I am going to talk about the products, if I'm going to talk about the company, I'll give a very good introduction prior to coming about the company. I'll not just come up here and say, you know what, there's a company called New Life. I need to give everything I'm going to talk about some kind of background. When I'm going to talk about, say, the healthcare part of it, I'll say, you know what, our health is our greatest wealth. And I don't know about you, but for me, it's something I found very important. That if you're not healthy, you cannot do anything else in your life. So this is what New Life has done for us. It has showed us how we can actually be able to live a healthier life. And we all still starts with you when you're born. You're 25, you're very vibrant. I've done some kind of introduction. The choice of your words is very important. You want to be using the we as opposed to I, my, and some of those things are very key. Like now, yesterday, I know one of the things that keeps on cropping up, and we just have to learn how to do it. Yes, it's important. Yeah, we do join New Life, but it's more logical for you to talk about starting New Life than joining New Life. Because sometimes people look at our kind of business like some form of cult or something that you have to get into. And some people don't want to join and be part of things. But when you talk about starting a business, people find it very more logical. Sometimes when we use words like under, super under that one and under that one, people don't understand that you have uh, the you have the the potential to actually go past your upline. You can actually build a business that is bigger than the person who introduced you into the business. And therefore, that person is not necessarily under you. So you need to understand how we use those words. The choice of words is very, very, very important. And as if okay, thank you very much, Williams. I've taken note of your comment. Yeah. So the choice of words is very, very important. And we need to learn how to use some of these words. When should you be using I? When should you be using we? You know, whenever you're referring to the team, it's important that we use we. Whenever you're referring to yourself, of course, it's important that you use I. But sometimes you want to refer to the team, but you're using I. And it comes off as though um, we are not working as a team. It comes off as if you are actually an individual. Okay, then also it's also important for you to define new terms. Sometimes you think everybody knows what a cell is. You think everybody knows what nutrition is. You think sometimes everybody knows what cash flow quadrant is, upline, downline, PV. All these are important terms that you should be at the end of your mind, at the back of your mind, that you should be able to define. Never use a particular term that is not common, that someone does not know, and you use it continuously when that person has not been introduced to the term. You need to learn how to define the new terms that we introduce. And we do have a couple of terms that some of us now on the call, they have become normal. They are normal terms. They are things that we use day in, day out. I was talking to someone yesterday and she was saying, hey, this one has been calling me upline, upline, upline. Oh, to have understood what an upline is, you know? So people don't know what the word upline is, but then when you use it unconsciously, people don't even know what president team member is. They don't know what all team is. They don't know who a manager, senior manager, director is. So it's important for you to define terms. You define those new terms as you're communicating the person. Very, very important. And also the use of bridges. Bridges basically means coming over from one side of a topic to another side of a topic. Okay. When you now talk about the cleaning care products, for example, how do you move over to the super? The way you move over to the super group, I'll give you an example. When I'm moving over to the super group, I'll ask the person, have you done any farming before? Are you a farmer? Oh, okay. You're not a farmer. Fine. I'll just let you know about what we have in as far as farming is concerned. Never know you could get someone out there who's going to actually be interested in the farming bit. When I'm coming over from, say, the skin to the health, I'll say, you know what? And I'll say this, I'll always say this. Now I'll come to the last part of our products. The last part of our products, because someone is longing to listen to the last part of your presentation. So I usually bring it in when I'm turning over to talk about the healthcare range of products. So the use of appropriate bridges. Bridge is like a word that, sorry, it's like a set of words or a sentence that joins the two. So you're talking about a different topic. You've come from cleaning, you're going to Supergrow. From Supergrow, you're going to cleaning. So you're going to the skincare. From skincare, maybe you're going to the healthcare. Maybe from the healthcare, you're now going to talk about business. I would like to conclude our presentation by sharing with you my story. That's a bridge. That's a bridge. How has this business been able to benefit me? That's a bridge. So you need to learn how to also communicate easily. And these are very important things, these are intentional things. Ladies and gentlemen, when I started New Life, these are not things I actually had at the back of my mind. But these are now things that you'll find people that have been around for some time have been able to learn over a period of time, and they have understood how to use some of these things. So communicating easily is a very important part of a business. And then also, just a minute, you need to make sure your body shouldn't get distraction. Janet did talk about this some time back. When you look at how we wear, especially, sometimes you find that you're talking and your earrings are tingling, tingling, and they're making noise, or you have some tattoo, or you just have to make sure that your body isn't part of the distraction that your prospect has to look at. And these are things that are very critical to us. Sometimes when you overdo the makeup, you become a distraction. Sometimes when you don't comb, when you don't do some things, you become a distraction. Your breath, how you smell, all those are things that can form part of the distraction. I've seen someone trying to do a presentation and they were not smelling all that good. And I'm telling you, the prospect just wasn't in for it. They were not going to listen to them at any one point. So it's important for you to just understand that getting into that environment with your prospect, you need to make an effort to see that your body is not a distraction. Okay, it's also important for us to tell the truth, ladies and gentlemen. Don't oversell the products. Don't oversell the products or the opportunity. Don't talk about what the products cannot do. Sometimes we give people guarantees to get better, that the diseases will be treated. Those are all things that you should never ever do. Just tell the truth. Tell them what the products can do and what they cannot do. Tell them in how long. Today, I tell people that if you give this business at least every single day, you're talking to 2 people every single day, I can guarantee you that in 7 months, you will become a director, you'll be earning $500. Why? Because I have seen people who have done that, who have talked to people every single day, and in 7 months, they were directors. In fact, Director Esther became even a director in about 4 or 5 months, So at the end of the day, yes, please do tell the truth. Don't promise people. Don't overpromise. Don't underpromise. Do not say what you are not. When people are calling you doctor, tell them, please, I am not a doctor. I am a nutritionist that has been trained, or I am in nutrition and I've been trained by New Life. Don't lie, because the moment you lie, that lie is going to follow you. So these are principles that you should keep at the back of your mind as you build and as you do your one-on-one. The moment you start lying, believe me, when that person starts the business and they find out that it was a lie, they will actually lose trust. They will never trust you again. So don't oversell the products or the opportunity. Don't say what you are not. Don't lie. Always tell the truth as you build your new life business. And if you know what you're doing cannot be duplicated, believe me, you're not going to grow to become what you want to be. Your growth and success will be short-lived, and we shall clap for you, recognize you, have you well recognized, but you will not last. You will not last because what you're doing is not applicable, and you're telling lies. Be knowledgeable, know what you are talking about. That's why we need to attend trainings to gain more knowledge. So for the people that are on the call for the very first time today, between 6 a.m. and 6:30, Monday to Friday, we get information, we get knowledge. The reason we get this knowledge is so that we can actually be able to pass on this information to another people, to another set of people. So I just want to encourage you to attend trainings, invest money and time in acquiring knowledge, get information, get onto YouTube, get onto all these platforms where you are getting knowledge, and please maximize and get that knowledge. Read up on the situation or the products before you meet your prospect. If someone tells you this particular person actually has this issue, it's important for you to just read up and just get more knowledge around that issue. Ask for help, ask for assistance, but never sit. Some of us are not sponsoring people because we sit in front of these prospects and we don't have the knowledge. And in addition to that, we don't have someone helping us to pass on this information to the prospect. And then let me see. Okay, we still have one. Try and present at the prospect's level. Do not use hard, complicated words. Keep it simple. Sometimes I've been to a place, a village where people don't even know what Dubai is. They've never heard of Dubai. They've never heard of Mauritius. And I'm here talking about, oh, we are going to Mauritius, but they've not even been to Kampala. They've not even been to their closest city next to them. And sometimes you're talking and they're not connecting with you because you're being very hard and complicated. So try as much as possible to keep it simple. And like they say, keep it simple and stupid. Keep it simple and sweet. Please keep it very simple as you pass on this information to the prospect. The simpler it becomes, I only use technical words. I go into the bilipid layer gate, the cell membrane. I only use technical words when I know I'm talking to someone that requires to have that technical information. Yeah, but other than that, I'll try as much as possible at all times to keep it simple. Sometimes we don't sponsor people because we complicate things so much. And the people who sponsor people, and you've seen them sponsoring people, they just keep it simple. They just keep it simple. Okay, and then lastly, have the intention to make the prospect's life better. If in the hearts of hearts, and I think Margaret Kajimu does this very well, if in the hearts of hearts you don't have the intention to make the person's life better, then you're not going to sponsor them. Every time you see someone, if you're seeing them for how much money they're going to give you, then you're not going to get the person sponsored. That is for a fact. So you have to have the intention to make the prospect's life better. You must. And that is what it takes. Those are the 10 communication qualities that I wanted to share with you this morning. You have to be interested in the person as opposed to being interesting. You have to ensure that you are not in an environment that is distracting you. You need to have sincere facial expressions, both from you and also learn how to read your prospect's facial expressions. Appreciate the level of assertiveness you have to use with a certain prospect. You have to learn how to communicate easily, the use of the appropriate words, bridges, and things like that when you're communicating that allow your conversation to flow. You have to you have to make sure that your body shouldn't be a distraction. You have to tell the truth. You have to be knowledgeable and know what you're talking about. It's important for you to have information. You have to present at the prospect's level. Very important, ladies and gentlemen. Don't present above the prospect's level. Present at the prospect's level. Present to what the prospect understands. Don't get too complicated. Don't use hard words as you're talking to the prospect. Have the intention to make the prospect's life better. For me, I think number 10 is the most important. If someone has the intention to make someone else's life better, believe me, you will actually sponsor them. So these are the qualities that you need to ensure that you build a stable, strong business, that you sponsor, that the people you're talking to actually reach out to them and you are able to change their lives. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to stop here.